Dhyan is a process through which you reach to the simplicity and the elegance and the bliss of consciousness, of the existence. It is the broadest possible vision you can have to look at this world. And in this broadest vision, all the differences, dualities, likings, dislikings, hatred, backstabbing for the purpose of gaining something, losing something, all this get washed away. And what remains is just simple, elegant existence. The vision for the world that remains after that is that of acceptance, absence of resistance, enjoyment, karuna. Since the duality disappears, every single person gets accepted. No person is able to generate hatred, dislike. To reach to this state, efforts are needed, but the state exists. As long as the duality exists in your life, likes and dislikes exist in your life, me, mine, sukh, dukh, happiness, unhappiness exists, you're still not there yet. As long as you're suffering, as long as you have anger, as long as you have agitations of the mind, you are not there. As you transcend the mind, and the climb to the stairway, climb the stairway to the heaven, you have to let go a lot of things. You don't have to let go, but the joys of simplicity and elegance are so beautiful. The duality just starts dropping. If we cannot accept everyone, our heart has not gone big enough. It is not the person's fault. It is the fault of our sadhana. If the outside events disturb you, then you are not there yet. You just need more sadhana. Ultimately, you come face to face with the reality, which is non-moving, steady, infinite. And it is the hard truth versus the world of duality gets made and destroyed, comes and goes in a continuous flux, continuous motion, is an illusory existence. It is part of the existence, but it is the Maya, as we call. choice is yours. Once you reach the state of samadhi, whether to look at the world with your broad vision glasses, where everyone remains acceptable, you maintain your peace, or you want to see through the mind, which divides, dissects, and the reason it divides, it can choose one over the other, and the choices are made over one over the other is mind wants to feel good. The ego is boosted, and the game of suffering continues, because what is chosen also will become unchosen at some point. Those are the laws of samsara. They've been written forever. You cannot change them. The moment you choose, you lose in the world of spirituality. So life can be very simple, but we make it complicated. In simple elegance existence, where you had total peace, you pick up your kaleidoscope, which is your mind, and then start analyzing the world, and you try to find the faults in the world, in the people. You start selecting ones over the others. All these things are not necessary, but it's your choice whether you want to use the broad vision glasses, or you want to use the kaleidoscope, which is so narrow. And inside the kaleidoscope, there is pain, there is suffering, there are arguments, likings, dislikings, backstabbings, all these things. But we keep on complaining that samsara is painful. But you are the one who have made the choice to look at the world through your mind, which is very narrow, very limited form of looking at the world. And the permutation, combination of the events which are happening in front of you, they harass you. They make you tired. You keep running either towards the objects, away from the objects. But running is making you tired. But we choose to run. We make choices in life so that we can run. If what we were running from or what we are running towards, if both seem equal to you, where is the running? And this is possible only in the vision of God. The Almighty Consciousness has been giving the space to this universe, Akash Tattva. It cannot be impartial to any of its inhabitants. It's like in a town, everybody has to have a water, everybody has to have access to the sewer. It's a process. It is the city's responsibility towards all its citizens. Same way, consciousness gives existence to everything. Everyone has a right to be where they are. Only in the company of Paramatma, consciousness, God, whatever you call, you can develop this broader vision where the duality starts disappearing. We have that capacity, but instead of finding our true nature of consciousness, we keep on spending time in our mind. We always think what other people must be saying about us. Or if somebody already has said something, we keep on munching over it for days and days and months and months. We create paper tigers in our head. We jump to the future, develop anxieties about what's going to happen. We jump to the past, and we always have regrets of what we did, what we should have done, all those things, second guessing. But we never see the simplicity of accepting what it is. We just cannot do that. Going into the past or going into the future is doership, and doership is ego. Only when we decide to drop the ego, we are allowed in the kingdom of heaven, where there is absolute peace, there is elegance, and this is the truest of the truest democratic state, where even a leaf has a right to exist. Even a beggar has a right to exist. Everyone is equal. All the events which are happening in front of you have a right to happen. So where is the problem? There is no resistance. There is total acceptance of everything that is happening. And when you can do that, you have reached to the God state. But along with that comes a very difficult task, meaning to be fair to everything, everyone, and every moment that is happening. It has to be totally acceptable to you. If an event comes in your life which is unpleasant, the mind always has tendency to dislike it and choose to run away from it, to escape from it. But mind never thinks that the opposite side of this event, he or she or they also have a right to do what they need to do. When we look at from our point of view, it becomes unpleasant. But looking from another side, looking from others' perspective, it becomes totally acceptable. If an event takes place in my practice, where if I think I overlooked something, then I may become unhappy, defensive. trying to combat. But if I'm looking from the patient's perspective, what their suffering was, what's the cost to them, it always equalizes. If a blood is being drawn in my office and it was the mistake of the phlebotomist and patient suffers, if I want to maintain my balanced state of observation, I would choose the suffering of the patient rather than trying to protect my employee. If patient is a priority, everything remains balanced. And the air of balance filters down to all the employees. They also start sacrificing their own individual egos and drop them for the benefit of the patients. Similarly, in life, if somebody says something unpleasant, you can always sympathize with their agony or sufferings. Then the balance gets re-established. The moment becomes acceptable. There are many examples that can be given, but main thing is to go within and experience the bliss state where choosing is losing. You do not choose anyone. You give the same importance to every single person or an object involved in creating that situation, and you be fair to all of them. Then you have dropped your ego, and then you have the simplicity and elegance of the existence, which is so peaceful and joyous. Have a good day.